Guys, I am going to read from Beyond Fear again. Sorry, it's been a minute. I read chapter 1 a little while ago, and I've done a couple podcasts, and I've just been busy with life in general. I am skipping chapter 2. It's short, and as I've said before, I'm not trying to read this whole thing. Part of the reason why it's been a little while is that as far as chapter 3 is concerned, is the opposite of chapter 2. It's like a ridiculously awesome chapter. I want to read the whole thing. I've skipped, I've crossed out as much as I thought I could. But just a warning, this is probably the longest reading I'll ever do. I didn't even want to do long readings, but I don't know how to avoid this one if I put it on the internet at all. And I do want to read it. I think it's going to offer insight into the Toltec worldview, or at least the way that I understand the Toltec worldview. And I think it's just really awesome. Kind of almost like overwhelming to a degree, maybe. I don't think that's the right word either. It's just like profound. I don't know. No words are good enough. All words are corny. All the words are corny. But these words are like only a little bit corny. They'll help you see the light beyond the words. So I guess they're pretty cool words. I'm just going to get into it. One last quick reminder aside that I forgot about. He does write this book. It's his first published book prior to the Four Agreements. So he had help from a lady named Mary Carroll Nelson. So he's not talking about himself in the third person. Whenever Miguel comes up, that's her writing. So yeah, just want to let y'all know that he's not talking about himself in the third person. But ultimately, y'all should buy the book so y'all can see. I don't actually tell you when it's her writing and when it's him writing, but I also leave out, full chapters. Chapter 2, I'm not going to read. I did skip around a little bit in this chapter, but I did read most of it. But yeah, y'all should buy the book and support the Ruiz family anyway, because they're fucking awesome. Peace. Chapter 3, Silent Knowledge and Elements of Toltec Wisdom. To grasp the brilliance of present-day advanced scientific knowledge requires extensive study. This was also true in prehistoric times, when intellectual leaders passed on their scientific knowledge to selected students. Miguel's teachings are a merging of his intuition and his education, including an awareness of astronomy, physics, and biology. His wisdom applies on a shamanic level, a different dimension of reality from the one most scientists study in their laboratories. He offers an effective explanation of the natural world at that place where metaphysical concepts intersect with materiality. Miguel's students enter a spiral path when they commit themselves to learning what he knows. He repeats the same primal concepts again and again, slowly adding increments of new material. With each repetition in slightly altered words, he builds a new structure for the worldview. This book follows that spiral path in which Miguel's teachings gradually widens to encompass related ideas grouped around core thoughts. At the originating point of the spiral is a key idea that is known to native people of wisdom throughout the world far back in time. The universe is a living, highly intelligent, living being. I said living twice. A living, highly intelligent being. Miguel also teaches that the sun is a living being. Every planet is an organ in a solar being. Together, the sun and all the planets are one being. Each unit from an electron to a galaxy is a being united into larger beings. Our universe is made up of the whole system of smaller beings. There are many universes, and together they constitute a gigantic being. It's a lot of beings. Water's so good. In any of the atoms of the body, the electron is like a planet. Living beings on the third electron, looking out from their home, would view a human body as stars in the same way that people looking out from the earth see stars. As above, so below. The macrocosm is reflected in the microcosm. The same chemical and physical laws affect both the human body and the planets. As inhabitants of the solar system, we acknowledge the primacy of the sun as our center. Though it is a minor star in the galaxy, the sun is our major star. It provides the light whose energy sustains life on Earth. All along the life chain, living organisms ingest light. Living creatures take in energy from food and oxygen. The light eaten by humans has already been transformed into food by plants and animals. The human brain transforms this energy from matter into ethereal energy. Ethereal energy and emotional energy are the same, basically. How does this happen? In the process of perception, we always have an emotional element. The brain creates the emotion, and the emotion is a state of energy. Emotion is no longer matter, it is a form of energy. Material energy is that which is detectable and provable by scientific methods. Ethereal energy cannot be proved within the limits of mainstream science. We cannot prove that hate or love exists, but we experience their effect. Emotional energy is ethereal energy. For several hundred years, scientists in Europe postulated that the basis of matter in space is an energy known as ether. Miguel says that ether actually exists, and the theory of ether is beginning to make its way back into the consciousness of non-mainstream scientists. Efforts to build so-called space power generators which make use of free energy, ether, in working motors are being funded in a number of countries. Yeah, it's funny how this is written in 92, but they never seem to just make it. I guess those oil companies just keep buying those patents up, huh? Patents. Patents were a bad idea. Shamans have never doubted that space between the stars, planets, moons, asteroids, galaxies, and universes, and within the atoms of our own bodies, is filled with ether. Ether is the medium of transportation through which information moves. A basic myth encircles the world in which the following elements are all present. Father Sun brings light and heat to Mother Earth. Mother Earth creates life in the human body and the mind. Just as the sperm carries to the womb all the information necessary to create a human being, so the sunlight brings into the earth the energy and information needed for Earth to create life. This myth is honored by Native people everywhere, and it is the reason that God is so often represented by the sun. Examples are Apollo and Ra, and Jesus if you watch Zeitgeist, the documentary by Peter Joseph. Mother Earth is the womb. The sun receives the Son of God, right? Think about that. And his 12 disciples, the 12 zodiacs, the 3 wise men, the 3 stars in the sky that point to the North Star, the Orion Belt. So Jesus is the sun. There's a lot more to it, actually, but you should check it out. Zeitgeist, the movie, the documentary by Peter Joseph. The sun receives information from the center of the galaxy. Light comes from other stars as well as the sun. The universe communicates with itself through light. Condensed light is a nerve found throughout the universe. Throughout the universe, there is a constant flow of information. Data moves in beams of light from the sun and other stars. Light beams are therefore messengers, and one synonym for messenger is angel. A light ray is an angel. An angel is a being of light carrying information outward from the center of our galaxy, star to star, sun to planet. Our seemingly solid bodies are created from condensed sunlight, making us vessels of light, just like angels. Our true identity is angelic, or light-filled. We are beings filled with the information that comes to Earth in light. The primary source of all information is at the center of the universe. In our region of the universe, this source is at the center of the Milky Way, our own galaxy. Locally, our source is the sun. There are numerous universes besides the one we inhabit. The information carried by light is known as the silent knowledge. It's also known as intuition, but the silent knowledge. The secret of this wisdom is the coded method of continually renewing life. This life-preserving data in our sunlight is decoded by planet Earth. The Earth is both an organ in the body of the solar being and a complete system or living body in itself. The Earth transforms the energy of light into ever-renewed earthly life. Within living cells, the silent knowledge is stored and passed on in DNA. Therefore, our own bodies are storehouses of this wisdom. Earth has its own metabolism, and it also has organs. The Earth's energy is processed by the organs of the Earth and then is released back to the sun, like an inhalation and exhalation of breath. Among the Earth's organs are its atmosphere, which functions like the skin of the planet, the oceans, the forests, and all animals. The totality of human beings forms an organ of the Earth. The function of the human organ is to transform energy from matter to the ethereal, and conversely to transform ethereal energy, emotions, into matter. Native people even now recognize each organ of the earth as a god. There is a god of the ocean, a god of the air, and a god that represents all humans. There are personal gods and family gods, and a god for each nation. Instead of calling them gods today, we speak of the spirit of the nation, but it's a god. Gods are created in the minds of humans. What does God mean? God means an entity superior to a human. It protects the earth to think that there is a God for the air, a God for the sea, and to venerate that godlike energy. One can imagine the positive result if the majority of humans praised each of the earth's organs, including the whole of humanity. In addition to the gods who represent Earth's organs, humans have revered other gods who came from elsewhere in this universe. We are now at a momentous point in the history of life on Earth. Some celestial programming is underway. All hidden ancient traditions are being opened at once. The opening of the silent knowledge is a response to a signal from the intelligence at the center of our galaxy, the Milky Way, via our sun. Miguel states that we entered the sixth sun on January 11th, 1992, just as it was predicted in the Aztec calendar. Energy from the sun abruptly altered on that day. Miguel was in Teotihuacan for the anticipated event with a group of his students. He saw the color of light change. The vibration of our sunlight became faster and gentler. Miguel channeled this new light and performed a ceremony to receive the birth of the sixth sun. He describes what happened there as a miracle. All life on the planet and the planet itself are affected by the change in DNA. DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, the basic substance for which takes the form of a double helix found in the nucleus of every cell, which is associated with the transmission of genetic information, is a specific vibration of light that comes from the sun and becomes matter. Every kind of life on planet Earth, from the stones to humans, has a specific vibration from light that comes from the sun. Each plant, animal, virus, and bacterium has a specific ray of light. It is condensed by Mother Earth, and the information carried in the light becomes matter. This reproduction is the method whereby the silent knowledge is passed down from generation to generation of different life. DNA is specific to every form of life. Science has not yet differentiated the subtle distinctions in forms of DNA. We have come to the beginning of a new dispensation. It could mean a relaxation of the harmful attitudes we have been harboring, but there is an implicit sense that we might not change as fast as necessary to avert predicted disasters. Changes in the Earth's axis, in climate, and in the crust of the Earth are possible because the Earth is experiencing the new energy as an opportunity to heal itself. The change in vibratory energy coming into the Earth has not gone unnoticed among certain scientists. Ron Radhoff writes, in 1962, the year many say we entered into the Aquarian Age, we began to enter into the influence of the photon belt encircling the Pleiades. We will pass into the center of it by the year 2011. 12 years ago now. refers to the photon belt as the golden nebula, a parallel universe of a much higher vibration. Little by little, it is absorbing our universe. As we merge with this higher vibration universe, it will become the catalyst for massive changes. During the years of the fifth sun, incoming solar energy had a harsh effect on human beings and through us on the earth. The purpose of the present change in energy is to alter the dream that humanity is projecting onto itself and the earth. We will move from a nightmare of hell to a dream of heaven on earth. Heaven is a place without fear. The Toltec tradition is a way of life, not just a way of knowledge. The goal of this way is happiness. To achieve happiness, you need to express who you really are, not the person other people expect you to be. Through a process of self-scrutiny, you can discover who you were before you were domesticated. Then you can recover the freedom to use your own mind, your own body, your own brain to express yourself outside the dream, which is life. To achieve that freedom, the Toltecs have developed 3 masteries. The mastery of awareness. Through this mastery, one becomes aware that humans are dreaming all the time, day and night. They are creating the dream of hell. The way out of the nightmare is to know where you are, and what kind of freedom you seek. The second mastery is the mastery of transformation. Through this mastery, one gains control over one's emotions. Dangerous. Once we have the awareness that in our minds we are the slaves of the judge and the victim who dictate our emotions, we can, through the mastery of transformation, challenge our whole belief system. Our goal is to recover who we really are, to be ourselves, and to allow our spirit to express itself into the outside dream. By choosing our actions and reactions in everything that we do, the master of transformation becomes a master of freedom, a master of surrendering, and a master of love. The last mastery is the mastery of intent. This is the mastery of spirit and will and willpower. The master of intent becomes one with God or life. God or life works through the master's mouth, mind, and hands. In that state, with every action the master does, there is God or life. I prefer the word life, or love, or reality. They're all the same thing. Energy, consciousness, nature, Allah, Yahweh. The Toltec's goal is to have communion with the Creator, the Spirit. They seek to go back home. In their teaching, they say we came from the Creator and we will return to the Creator. Eknath Eswaran, in his book Meditation, explains his use of the word Lord in a way that is in empathy with Miguel's. When I use words like Lord or God, I mean the very ground of existence, the most profound thing we can conceive of. This supreme reality is not something outside us, something separate from us. It is within, at the core of our being, our real nature, nearer to us than our bodies, dearer to us than our lives. The Toltec tradition is a map that tells you how to go home. Because it is a map, you have to begin at the point where you are. Your first task is to become aware of what you really are, and that is a mystery. This is a mystery. To explain what you are, you could just say your name. Or you could say, I was born and I'm gonna die. You are a human, a man or a woman. You are a doctor, a lawyer, or a teacher. Whatever you do, you are your body. You think that you are what you feel, but is all of that true? Is that what you really are? We ask eternal questions. What is God? What is life? What is the universe? What is death? What is reality? Some of these are my own. What is the planet Earth? What is matter? What is light? Science tries to explain material questions. There is an amazing amount of knowledge available to us, but behind that knowledge is the mystery. What is behind electrons? What is behind galaxies? What is behind the spirit? Did we exist before we were born? What happens when we die? We say, I am, but what does that even mean? As a medical doctor, I could say, I am a human body, a perfect biological machine with a marvelous brain that has been made by billions of little computers that are neurons. It is made by little living beings that are the cells that make the organs and muscles. I am that complex which is human. What makes this possible? What is the human brain? How does the brain work? We have tried so hard to explain it by microscope and electronics. We have had amazing results from our experiments, yet we still do not know what the brain is. You are going to die, but now you are alive. What is life? It is useless for us to reason in order to understand something that is impossible to understand. Our reason tells us what is truth and what is not. Reason makes the decision. This is what I am and this is what I am not. However, these decisions are merely limits, not possibilities. If I say I am happy, you can understand me. You have a concept of happiness. When I feel pain, either physical or emotional pain, I have to use words and concepts to describe it, yet they do not explain it. Anger and jealousy are nothing but concepts. The truth is, we are a great mystery. Miguel refers to an object that seems solid, yet we can prove scientifically that it is composed of atoms. Atoms are constantly moving. Although the object seems solid, it is actually moving energy. The space between atoms is larger than the mass of the atoms themselves. We perceive things as stable, but everything is in constant motion. What we see is nothing but the light reflecting from objects. Reflected light gives them apparent form. We have agreed to accept our visual perception of reality as truth. But this truth derives from an arrangement or consensus in which we are a partner. Perception is a miracle that demonstrates our power to create the outside reality. We perceive the natural world, but we actually created it in our mind and brain. We have created language, and we use it to name all the animals and plants and other components of this universe. Naming things seems to authenticate the world of illusion. The reality we have made gives us a false sense of security. We feel we have our feet on the ground. We see the sky, we sense the wind and the rain. It is familiar to us. It is all a dream made by the mind. It is a dream with matter and the structure because we made it that way with our own magic. All of us are magicians. Because we have the power to create this reality, we are related to everything in this reality. What I see with my eyes and hear with my ears is true only in this reality. If I shift my point of view a little, it is not truth anymore. When we shift our point of view, we see that our body is matter, which is energy that allows us to move. Another kind of energy is all around us that is also us, and this is the mind. The mind is energy, but it is not matter. We think, we feel, we dream, but we cannot take a piece of the dream into the laboratory and prove that it exists. We cannot take love into the laboratory and say, this is love. We do not prove that an emotion exists, but we know that love exists because we can feel it. It is not matter, but it is energy. It is energy because it exists. Everything that exists is energy. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. Energy has no beginning and no end. This sounds familiar. When we go to church, we hear such words said about God. God and energy are exactly the same. Everything is made by energy and everything is made by God. There are billions of manifestations of energy. There are billions of manifestations of God because everything is God. Or life, or reality. Words I prefer. The mind is energy that is not matter. The mind is ethereal energy. All energy is alive, so the mind is alive. Not only is the body alive, but the mind is also, and we are the mind as well as the body. We mix the material and ethereal energy in the concept I am. At the same time that we are talking, our mind is actively thinking. It is dreaming. Our eyes perceive the light, but the mind makes it an interpretation of that light and creates this reality. It is possible to reach a point at which the separation of mind and body dissolves and reality itself will change completely. Your human body is made by billions of cells. Every little cell is a living being that can exist outside of your body. It can even reproduce outside of your body. You are that cell also. The cell itself has many inner elements, and each of them is alive. The cell is part of a chain. With billions of cells, we make a human body. You can say, I am the body. Meanwhile, each cell can say, I am a cell. The cell lacks awareness that many cells together make an organ. The liver, the heart, the intestines, the brain, the eyes, all the organs together form a human body, which is a unity. Each of us is a human being. Yet, just like a cell, we think we are separate, and we are not. All humans on the planet create another organ for a larger living being, which is the Earth. Planet Earth is a living being. We are the planet Earth. A single cell is human. A person is the planet. One single person is the planet. All humans form only one of the Earth's organs. There are many others. The trees, the atmosphere, the ocean, rocks, and animals are all organs of the Earth. The Earth has etheric energy or emotional energy, just like humans do. It has a soul. It has a mind. It is alive. It is a living being. It has a metabolism through which it receives energy from the outside. It transforms energy that it takes in and sends out its own form of energy. Planets receive energy from the sun and transform it. On Earth, animals eat plants and transform the energy they receive. Humans eat plants and animals and transform the energy they receive from them. What is the function of the organ in the Earth's body that humanity constitutes? It is to transform material energy into ethereal or emotional energy. We receive food and oxygen, and with our brains, we transform the energy of matter into emotional energy. We work for the Earth 24 hours a day, just like the bees and the ants. The work we do for the planet is to make emotions. Making emotions is the main function of the human mind. We are dreaming when we are awake and when we are asleep. When you sleep and dream, your dream creates emotions. When you are awake and dream, the dream has a structure. Even though we are dreaming, we are interpreting everything we experience. To do so, we impel our brain to create emotions. This is our function. Planet Earth is one element in a chain. The whole universe is alive. It is a living being. This planet is just a little piece of the living being that is the universe. Who we are is now somewhat expanded. We are the body, we are the mind, we are also planet Earth. There is information in the large chain that is the universe. The same information is in the Earth. Likewise, all the information in one human body is in one cell of the human body. One cell has all the information needed and all the power to create its own universe in the form of another human being. One human being has all the power and information it needs to create another planet. Such an act of creation does not depend upon reason. This creation from within depends upon the silent knowledge. Each cell is as powerful as the human body, and the human body is as powerful as the Earth, and the Earth is as powerful as the whole universe. At each step in this chain, it is necessary to change one's point of view to perceive the analog. From the microcosm to the macrocosm, one system is operating. It is all a mystery. From outside the human point of view, it is possible to see the complexity of the human being and to see the relationship of the human to the total mystery of the universe. Wherever we go, we are there waiting for ourselves. Each human being compares with a cell in a muscle. We are the same interchangeable cells. If I am you and you are me, I have no reason to hurt you. If you are me, why do you have to hurt me? If I am my planet, why do I have to destroy the planet? Why don't I understand the planet? Why don't I understand you? We might recognize ourselves by our names, our personalities, our separateness, but when we alter our point of view, the concept of individuality seems very limited. We are not individuals. We are one. That one is ultimately all universes together. This is the big mystery. This is life. Life is only a concept. It is a title, like a lawyer or a doctor. The concept of life is too small for the reality of what life is, but it is an explanation that our reason accepts. We lack adequate words to explain life, but the word life is understandable to us. In reality, life is life. Life is action. We are life, and life is us. So what he actually says there is, this is God. God is only a concept. It is a title, like a lawyer or a doctor. The concept of God is too small for the reality of what God is, but it is an explanation that our reason accepts. We lack adequate words to explain God, but the word God is understandable to us. In reality, God is life. Life is action. We are God, and God is us. But I replaced God with life just so you could see that there's literally no fucking difference. As part of the human organ of the planet, we are connected with every other part of the planet. Whatever happens to the planet affects everyone within the human organ, and vice versa. Whatever affects a single person within the human organ affects the entire planet. Like a single cell that has the power to create a human being, deep inside of us we have the power to create a whole universe. Our reasoning is so limited that it prevents us from understanding the scope of our power. We have the power to change everything. We can transform. We can build or destroy. Our power is greater than any atomic bomb. Our power is our intent, our spirit. That is our silent knowledge. Reason does not know that we know. Reason is only a small part of the mind. Reason does not make decisions. It has one function, and that is to connect two different dreams, the dream of the planet with an individual dream. The mind is made by emotions. Emotions are the code that builds the mind, just as numbers are the code for mathematics and notes are the code for music. Emotions are the code for the whole mind. Every emotion is alive and is a living being. Just as every cell in our body is alive and creates the human body, so every emotion is alive. The mind is also alive and is a living being. Mind connects all human beings. All human minds together form the largest part of the mind in the planet itself. The strongest scientific point of view today is still focused on Earth as an object. When a volcano erupts or a hurricane howls, science offers a technical explanation for the event because they're so smart and better and smarter than everybody else. In Toltec wisdom, the Earth has decided to take these actions. The planet is a living being who can think and make decisions for itself. Toltec ancestors understood that Earth is a living being. Such a worldview is still held by native people all around the world. If the ground is parched, they dance to bring rain. They play the drum and sing. They build a fire. The important part of their ritual is that they make their intent to Mother Earth to bring them water, and Earth responds. They do not consider the relationship of their intent and the Earth's reaction to be a mystery. This level of relationship cannot be understood through the reason alone. The native point of view is that of a shaman. In order to transform, humans will need to recover the shamanic perspective. We cannot see an electron with our human eye because our eye is not designed to see it. Our eye operates within a certain time and space. The electron's time and space of operation are completely different from the eye's. To see an electron, we would need to be another electron in an identical time and space. Because we are filled with electrons, we can grasp the concept of electrons. We have emotions, so we can grasp the concept of emotions. We do not perceive them with our eyes. This kind of perception is closer to the intuitive and shamanic than it is to the analytical process of our reason. We are connected with everything, and we affect everything through our intent. Our intent is a different part of our mind than our reason. One human being within the Earth's organ of humanity compares to a neuron within the human body. One neuron can make a decision and the whole body will obey. Likewise, one human can make a decision and the elements will obey. The elements are obedient to human intent. To bring on the rain, you must transform your point of view and become one with the rain and the atmosphere. When you are in harmony with their vibration, anything can happen. You can apply this principle to identifying with an animal or any other organ of the planet. We can extend this process to include the entire universe, not just the Earth. When the relationship of the human to the whole universe is understood, It is easy to see that there is truth in astrology. Astrology is a science rather than a tool of divination. Ancient Toltecs knew that the universe is a living being that has metabolism. Astrology was a study of the metabolism of the universe. The Toltecs were seers who knew what would happen to the planet because they could interpret the quality of energy the universe needed from the earth. We create emotional energy, and this is the main form of energy that the earth transmits to the sun. From the sun, emotional energy is radiated outward to the rest of the universe. The sun controls the earth, and it makes decisions that affect the earth. The sun sends us light, and sunlight is all the information the sun intends to send to the earth. Light is energy. All energy has memory, so all information can be stored in light. Sunlight carries the information for the whole planet. It causes reactions in the earth. The earth contains ethereal or emotional, material energy, and material energy. In reaction to the information coded in sunlight, the earth will respond by sending the energy intended by the sun. This guy's name, I can't pronounce it, so I'm just going to skip it, but the great Jesuit philosopher gave the name noosphere to the quality of mind and thought which encircles the globe. The noosphere is the mind organ which is made of all human minds together. Such an idea explains the simultaneity of inventions and the manner in which an idea moves swiftly from mind to mind and leads to changes in human thought. Rupert Sheldrake is a British biochemist who proposed the theory of formative causation in which each natural system, from crystals to humans, shares a morphic field. The individual entities within each field inherit a collective memory. Their memory directs their habits of behavior and reproduction according to their kind. Within a specific field, a morphic resonance operates across time and space. Each field is a whole, and all fields are in constant evolution from atoms to galaxies. Over time, systems have died out and disappeared. Sheldrake writes, according to the hypothesis of formative causation, these fields in some sense still exist, although they cannot be expressed because there is nothing in tune with them. If for any reason, for example, a genetic mutation or an unusual environmental stress, any living system comes into resonance with the fields of an ancestral or extinct type, then these fields could be expressed again and archaic structures could suddenly reappear. Boom, it's key. Sheldrake's hypothesis is in keeping with Miguel's Toltec visions in several ways. Miguel himself must be a living system who is in resonance with the ancient Toltecs because their dream has come alive in him and he is developing a field of others who will share the dream. Miguel's explanation of the relationship of the sun, the earth, and human life is similar to Sheldrake's concepts. Miguel directs us to the sun as the center of all information and intelligence in the solar system. Although the sun is also a recipient of information from an even larger living system in the center of the galaxy, for us living on the earth, the sun is the source of our evolution. Miguel describes a continuous river of light moving from the sun to the earth that contains the vibrations of each individual in each field of life on earth. The light from the sun is the cause of effects within an individual or within the entire field of related living beings. For an evolutionary change to occur, the sun emits an altered vibration of sunlight. The receptive organism responds and transmits its response back to the sun in a constant interaction of energies. Miguel describes the light change in January of 1992 during his visit to Teotihuacan. At the moment of the change in the light, we began metabolizing a different quality of energy. It is difficult to test in a laboratory because through science we do not understand light as a living being. Our eyes eat this new light in the form of food, which is now of a higher quality. It will affect our minds, not our genes. It is basically undetectable by our limited science now, but in time we will prove light is a living biological being with intelligence and the source of our own intelligence. Each human has some frequency of light, which is always existent in the sun. This frequency is always connected like a river to the earth. This river is permanent as long as the sun and the earth exist. If we shift our point of view, In terms of time and space, it is possible to see that river of light as something solid, in the same way that, in our time and space, we see a human hand as something solid. We already know that if we shift our point of view to a smaller, swifter time and space, we no longer see the human hand as solid. Instead, we can see all the atoms, all the electrons as a field of energy that is moving and is not solid. The river of light, like any river, keeps its form, but it is never the same. A ray of light has perception and awareness. Billions of light rays connect the sun and the earth. From this light, humans are brought to life, and they eat this light in a continuous process of action and reaction. Information within the body changes the cells in the brain and elsewhere. A single human changes the way he metabolizes sunlight in reaction to the sun and transmits his or her response back to the sun. The sun processes the change. The whole river of light has a new quality. It then affects the whole of humanity because this particular quality of light reaches all humans. Since such a system of action and reaction explains the efficacy of prayer, the prayerful intent of human beings goes back to the sun in the river of light. The Nakwel, or the shaman, is a human who develops a small replica of the sun within his will. We call this the black sun because it is light that cannot be perceived with the human eye. The light is now intensifying human creativity, imagination, and intelligence. Humans lack the means to transcribe the exact code in which information comes from the stars, but parts of the mind and soul can understand it. We can channel this information. Earth, as a living being, easily understands the messages it receives. There are many extraterrestrials on Earth. Most of them are nothing but light. Once they have arrived on the planet, they can take different forms. The easiest way to travel in space is not on a spaceship, but through light. Toltecs used to do that, and so did the Egyptians. They traveled from one planet to another via the light. We all have the power to do this. The mastery of awareness from the Toltecs will remind us that we have this power. I am not teaching anything. I am just reminding others what they have remembered that they know. The knowledge I bear is not my own. It is in everyone. Around the world, all cultures have the same knowledge. All human beings have the same information inside. It might be phrased with different words, but the knowledge is exactly the same. The mastery of awareness is so extensive that it demands commitment of time and practice to remember the silent knowledge that we have within us. The call is to recollect all of the knowledge and to be what we are really, so that we can use our inner power. We aspire to become one with God, or one with life. I prefer life. It just sounds better, right? Right? God is like a corrupted word to me. And y'all know why. In the second mastery of transformation, we recover what we are. In this mastery, we learn to clean the mind, to stop suffering, to become warriors, to become masters, to become free, and to become one with love. Love is a good word too, because love and life are the same thing. Love, life, God, reality. All of that, like God is the worst word out of all of those, right? They all mean the same thing, so let's just throw God out. The third mastery of intent is the result when we are no longer the body and no longer the mind. We are no longer the soul. We are just love, because love includes everything. Love is the real name of God. See, even he said it. Love is everywhere. Everything is made of love. Love has billions of expressions, including fear. Fear is a reflection of love, but it is only a small part of love's expressions. Fear will control the mind. The mind will control the brain. What you do is according to what you perceive. So if you are feeling fear, what you perceive will be analyzed with fear. We see in the eyes the expression of what a person has in his or her mind. You will perceive the outside dream according to your eyes. If you have eyes of sadness, you will feel sad wherever you go, whether it is raining or sunny. If you have eyes of love, you will see love wherever you go. The trees are made by love. Animals are made by love. The water we drink and the rivers and oceans are made by love. If you perceive love, you will connect with anything else that is made by love. You can become the eagle. You can become the wind or the rain or the clouds. All becomes one. You will recognize that everything is perfect just as it is. Our path to the silent knowledge is through awareness. We go deep into hell and we suffer in order to acquire awareness. This is why we decided to take a human form and to have a human mind which dreams this kind of dream, the nightmare we call hell. To get from hell, we need awareness which we acquire through intent and spirit. We become godlike because we have awareness, not just because we have silent knowledge. Knowledge alone is not sufficient. We must express our knowledge in action. There are many ways to become aware. In India, the path is through devotion and effort. In Christianity, it is through guilt, until we discover that we have no reason to be guilty at all. Guilt is a man-made emotion to make ourselves suffer for something we really want to do. How ridiculous it is to suffer for something we want. That's not my words. Those are his words. Thank you. Nailed it, Don Miguel. How ridiculous. The way to freedom is to stop judging and to stop victimization. This way is open to everyone. We do not need to be special. Even the person who is addicted to drugs and alcohol is a drug. Even somebody who's addicted to substances, intoxicants, can make it on this path. Sometimes it is fast and other times it is slow, but it is available to us all. This map of how to get out of hell, how to transform from being a victim to being a free warrior, does not place the end goal in the afterlife. You can bring heaven to earth. You can live in heaven while your body is alive. You can do it because I've done it. If I can do it, you can do it. Jesus said the same thing. And if you don't care about Jesus, that's cool too, but I'm just throwing that out there for the people who might care about that. Information that is essential to our escape from the dream of the planet is vital to the expansion of science as well. When science accepts the notion that the Earth is alive, scientific theory will expand and grow. With the further idea that the universe is alive and all of us are fundamentally connected, science can again move forward. This will alter psychology. All other basic ideas from the Toltecs, such as that the mind is made by emotions, that we are dreaming 24 hours a day, that we have a judge and a victim within us as a result of our domestication, that we are domesticated animals, that the mind is alive, that every emotion is a living being able to live inside and outside our mind, that we create emotions and send them to others telepathically, are the ingredients for a far more expansive philosophical basis for life. One Toltec concept is that we can transfer our consciousness from our reason to our will. This shift is the source of our potential power to completely transform the planet. We can control emotional energy. We can control our own dream and have a beneficial effect on everyone else's dream. Each of these thoughts can have far-ranging consequences in the mind of humans. From acceptance of Toltec silent knowledge, the individual has access to a form of magic that is innately human, but this magic is rarely presented through orthodox channels. I hope y'all enjoyed that one. I know it was long. So much love.